Oh, hi, and welcome back, Attorney Steve Vondra, and welcome to another exciting episode of Litigation Whiteboard. Okay, you may be wondering why I'm playing with this boxing glove over here. So, a lot of people don't know that we do boxing piracy cases. You say, boxing piracy? What on earth is that? We're going to talk about that in a second, but a lot of people like to show the fights. They like to show the fights at their restaurants, their nightclubs, their hookah bars, tattoo parlors, all kinds of things that like to use the commercial fights, the next heavyweight, middleweight, or what you want to call it. But when you have the boxing match, you got to have the proper license, a commercial license. And a lot of people are buying off the apps, these little ESPN apps and things, and thinking they have the full rights to show to their restaurant. Okay, they have the right to show at their restaurant. However, what they're buying is a personal license. You got to read those licenses carefully and closely. You will be bound to those terms. You can't buy a $60, $80, $90 license, bring it into your commercial restaurant, and show it to everybody. You're getting around the rules, and that can lead to, where did it go? Did I have it here? That can lead to something you don't want to get, which is a federal court lawsuit, okay? These cases are filed in federal courts. So without further ado, let's head to the Attorney Steve Litigation Whiteboard. Okay, here we go. Let's back up. You got your restaurant here. We got our owners and our officers. Question: are they going to be personally liable for showing a commercial boxing match? Are they broadcasting it in their restaurant? Are they going to be held personally liable? Now, the lawsuit I just looked at right here is they have named the restaurant as a defendant, but also the owners and officers, directors. So you don't want to get into this situation. A lot of people go, well, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? It's, I said, well, you should have probably spent the money and bought the commercial boxing match. Okay, you should have bought it. But here's a case we're going to deal with, and there's basically 4 companies that we deal with. This is one of them. Innovative Sports Management, doing business as Integrated Sports Media. Okay, so there's Johan Promotions, there's J&J Sports, there's G&G Closed Circuit. Those are the 4 companies we deal with. Okay, so if you get a letter, especially out in California where we handle a lot of cases, there's one attorney in particular, I'm not going to name names. He's very aggressive. He will come at you, will hit you hard. On those kinds of cases, it's usually not best to try to handle it yourself. I'm not saying you can't, but yeah, you'll know when you get that call and you don't feel right, give us a ring, okay? We'll give you a free consultation. So here's your restaurant. Now, you may be pumping in cable. You may be pumping in satellite at Dish Network or something, okay? You may have Cox Cable coming into your restaurant. There are 2 different laws that cover this, and I have them down here. 47, let's get my pen out. 47 USC 605. USC stands for, no, not the Trojans, United States Code. 65, 47 USC 605, and the cable version, the cable version is 47 USC 553, okay? So we talked about those. Now notice here real quick, and I'll go to it, but the damages are different, you notice? So the satellite damages can go up to $100,000 plus attorney fees, costs. 553 if it's cable, piracy via cable broadcasting, it can go as high as $50,000. Now, usually, and I'll tell you in this lawsuit that I just saw, and what you'll see in the California case, there are other plaintiffs on the East Coast that will also bring these cases. By the way, Innovative is a New Jersey company. They allege to have exclusive licensing rights to these broadcasts. So if you want to use them, you got to pay the proper licensing fee. Commercial. This is a commercial establishment, okay? So that's really what this is all about. But you'll also see conversion alleged in their intellectual property conversion. You're taking their signal, their boxing signal, and you're converting it to your own use without paying the proper license. So you'll see that. And you'll also see 17200. I talked to a lot of people about this. That's Business and Professions Code, B&P as we call it, B&P 17200. And this is one way they try to bring in punitive damages. Punitive damages. If you don't know what that is, I've got a video, Google Attorney Steve Punitive Damages. You'll see all about it. But that's where they can try to ring the bell, as we say, ring the bell, get a big old damage award, $5 million, this is egregious. Maybe it's a third time they've done this. Maybe it's the fourth time. Maybe they don't listen. Okay, that happens. We see those cases sometimes. Okay, so these are what they're looking for. These are the damages plus attorney fees. If you're a defendant in a case, you have to hire an attorney. They have an attorney. Their attorney fees are being racked up. You're presumably paying your legal counsel. Could be us. At any rate. So how do these cases come down? You have these investigators. Secret shoppers, if you want to call them, secret eaters. I don't know what you would call them. But secret eaters coming in, they're taking photos, they're looking around, they're taking a picture of your screens, showing the fights on your screens. Maybe you have 4 or 5 screens, they're showing that. Sometimes they're taking a picture of the crowd, seeing how many are actually in there. Sometimes they'll go into the parking lot and take pictures on the driveway of the cars and the license plates. So they're trying to document the case so they can earn their fee. Okay, they want to earn their fee, investigators. Okay, so that goes off to the lawyer. Lawyer decides if they want to file the lawsuit. Lawsuit gets filed. These are some of the factors that you're going to be looking at as far as settlement. People always say, well, they're asking me for $50,000. They're asking me for $60,000. I said, well, that's because they're over here. See, they're over here looking at these numbers directly out of the statute. So they're thinking, you know, hey, this is what we're entitled to if we go to court. So these can be really tough negotiations. I'm not going to lie. These are real tough negotiations. But again, what some of the factors, what I call these settlement factors, some of the things they're going to look at. Were you advertising? How heavily did you advertise the boxing match? How heavy did you do it? Did you go on Twitter? Facebook is real common. Hey, the fight's tonight. And what happens with that, just so you know why they get upset, is they say, well, you're out here and you're here at your restaurant on 123 Main Street. And then down here on 456 Main Street, we have a nightclub that's, 456 Main Street. They're showing it too. So they're paying $2,000-$3,000 for the commercial license and you paid $60. So they get upset, saying that you're taking customers, they should be over here if they want to watch a fight, where I have a legal license, a legal commercial license. And that's really the beef that these companies have, like J&J, G&G, Innovative, Johan, okay? So anyway, so you think about that. Did you advertise? The more the advertising, the more they may be upset. Occupancy, how big is your establishment, okay? How many people? What's the occupancy level, okay? If you're able to cater to 200 people and you have 100 people in there, that's maybe a bigger crowd. It goes up from there. Maybe you had 5 people there, 10 people. We get a lot of those cases. It was just me and a couple buddies. We get those cases. So occupancy level can be a factor. Did you charge a cover charge? Did you have drink premiums? Did you raise prices to try to make some money? Did you try to capitalize on the broadcast? And finally, just other financial factors. How well is the business doing? Sometimes I'll see a business that just looks fantastic. You can go to their website and you go, wow, that is a beautiful restaurant. Or you see some that are smaller and you go, okay, well, that's a smaller startup, maybe not in the best part of town. So these can be factors. The financial ability of the company. Is the company on the brink of BK due to COVID? There's a lot of reduction in, say we're down to 25% occupancy in some places. Some places say no occupancy. Okay, so business is down. That can be a factor. And again, this is a key factor that I do not want to underestimate, that a lot of people just overlook. They say, I have the corporate veil. I don't have to worry. I'm a business. I incorporated. I went to Business Law 101. I know everything. And you say, well, wait a second. And I just did a video on corporate veil. It's the last video I did if you want to watch. But there are ways to pierce the corporate veil and go after the officers and directors personally, especially if they had a financial stake in the piracy, let's call it, the illegal TV signal interception. They had a financial interest and the ability to control. Now, this usually happens when the owner is there on site and they say, yeah, well, we played it. Yeah, I was there. Okay. So, but never underestimate this, I should say. This can lead to the defendant being sued, defendant, D1, D2. Okay. That's how things can go. So if you need help, there it is. That's how they work. Like I said, there's 4 different boxing companies you might get a letter from. Johan Promotions, G&G, Closed Circuit, J&J Sports, and Innovative. sports management. So there you have it, Attorney Steve. General legal information only, not legal advice. Do not tell somebody, Attorney Steve gave me legal advice. No, nice try. So that's it. It's boxing piracy. And sometimes the gloves got to come off in these negotiations, okay? So have a great day. I got to get back to work. We'll talk to you soon. Bye now. If you need help, AttorneySteve.com is the place to go. AttorneySteve.com, the first name in legal services. Bye now.